On today's episode of The Savvy Marketer.
The biggest reason why I struggle with imposter syndrome was that because I didn't know myself. I did not believe in myself. But now that I know who really I am, and that my identity is founded on a foundation that is not changeable, I won't be as offended as much if somebody came up to me and say, "Hey, Kristy, you're not really good at this thing. Your grammar is not perfect. You're not from the States. You're from the Philippines. Why are you even here?" I'm not going to be as much offended because I know who am I, If they tell me, "Go back to the Philippines," that's where you came from. Like, yeah, that's really where I came from,
Sure.
Like, I don't mind, And I feel like regardless if, you just moved to the States or even if you're born here, if you make the most of the opportunities in front of you, then you will be able to make it.
On today's episode of The Savvy Marketer, we'll talk to Kristy Yoder, who has a fascinating story. She was born in the Philippines. She started a business here in the United States in 2019 and has already grown that company to have more than 70 employees. And that team is largely 8,000 miles away back in the Philippines. But first, a marketing moment. When can you afford to hire some help? There are a lot of sales leaders, marketing leaders, company leaders who are incredibly talented producers, but are held back because they're just absolutely buried in work. And if that's you, you probably need to hire some help. And you may simply need to hire an assistant, whether that's an assistant that you hire to work in-house, or you outsource it, or you find a virtual assistant. But many people don't take that step and hire the assistant because they can't justify the ROI. I think leaders often think, well, this assistant is going to cost X $1,000s a year, and they're not going to be able to sell, and they're not going to be able to do these things that produce revenue for my company. So where's the ROI? I want to challenge you to think about the ROI of an assistant a little bit differently. Instead of thinking about the ROI that they bring directly, think about the ROI that you can produce because you freed up big chunks of your time. If your assistant can free up half of your time with low value, time consuming work, what would that free you to do? What new ideas could you generate? What sales could you close? What things could you put in place in your business because that time is there that you didn't have before? Remember, the biggest ROI from hiring an assistant will most likely come from you. And that is your marketing moment. So today's guest on The Savvy Marketer is Kristy Yoder. She's the founder and CEO of SmartVAs. I met Kristy just, I think, 3 years ago when SmartVAs was in early startup stages, but the amount of growth that your company has had in just 3 years is really astounding. So Kristy, welcome to the show.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thanks for inviting me here.
So first, what is SmartVAs?
So SmartVAs is a virtual assistant agency. It's a US-based company, but all of my team members are based out of the Philippines and a few in Venezuela currently. So we help overwhelmed businesses reclaim time by delegating the tasks that they're not supposed to be doing. So we started in 2019, and now we are a team of 70 plus team members, and we are currently helping 92 clients, active clients as of the moment.
Unbelievable. So 70 employees helping 92 clients in 3 years. That's amazing.
And you're one of them.
Yes, absolutely. And we are loving working with SmartVAs. Since you've started SmartVAs, I think you've started to see a bigger purpose to the thing that you're doing. And how would you describe that bigger purpose?
I believe that everything that I have right now did not really come from my own effort. I believe that it came from God, and God has, a plan for my life. Right now, being here in Ohio, this is my, my destiny. This is where God is calling me. And the bigger purpose that I have right now is being able to help out those underprivileged or underserved communities in the Philippines. Growing up, I did not live, or my parents were not wealthy and rich. I even told a friend the other day that I did not grow up having a microwave at home because we don't have money to buy a microwave.
Yeah.
And so I understand, the feeling of having nothing. When I say nothing, the feeling of having not enough to provide for yourself, not being able to eat 3 times a day. And now that I'm here in the States, I have already experienced the feeling of having I can say everything, I'm just content in the season of my life right now. And because I have overflowing blessings from God, I'm able to share that with other people as well. That's why my mission right now is to provide sustainable and competitive work from home opportunities for people in the Philippines who were in the same situation as me. And people in the Philippines, they don't really get paid a lot. Just imagine going to work, you're gonna get stuck in traffic for 3 hours. Going back home, you're gonna get stuck for 3 to 4 hours again. And if you're a married, person, you need to put food on the table. And if you're not getting enough from your employer, then you're not gonna have food on your table. You're tired from commuting, you're tired from working, and when you get home, here you go, your wife is yelling at you because you don't have money to provide for them, and your kids are crying because they're hungry. That's a reality in the Philippines, and that might not be the kind of reality that we experience here in the States. I'm sure some people do. In my situation right now, I see an opportunity to help them out because I have what it takes, or I can help them, right?
Yeah. When we talked in 2020, I think you were just starting to grow the business. In fact, I think when we first connected, you were maybe still phasing out of being a virtual assistant yourself,
yes,
while building a team of others that could help with it. And it's incredible how fast you've been able to grow the company. You said to over 70 employees today. What are some of the biggest challenges that you face in your role as the leader of a fast-growing company?
Well, it's my very first challenge was when I moved to the States, when I started talking to people like you, because I had a different mindset during that time. I thought that, business owners or company owners, CEOs, they wear a suit and tie. And I told myself, who am I to talk to them? I'm just somebody from the Philippines who moved to the States, and I have an accent, and my grammar is not even that polished, So I saw myself as an individual that's very small. And so I changed my mindset by thinking that, you know what, these people, these business owners, we're all the same. We are building our businesses because we want to make money. At the end of the day, we all have the same time. We share the same air. We breathe. We poop, we pee and we poop, Yeah. And so we're all just the same. And I told myself, those business owners, they are struggling as well. We just maybe don't know, but we're all in the same place. We want to make money because we want to provide for our family and help other people. My main challenge really is myself, because if I don't believe in myself, then who will believe in me? It starts within me. And so the second thing that I had a hard time with is pleasing people. I couldn't say no to people because I don't want to reject them, and I want to have a very good reputation. Yeah. And so now I'm learning that it's not really about people liking you. It's about people respecting you for what you believe in, So even if you talk to your team members or to your clients, even if you fire, your client or your team member, they're going to respect you for firing you because they understand, your decision, and you were able to communicate properly why you're doing what you're doing. Are they going to like you? Maybe not, but they will respect your decision if you have communicated it properly to them. And so third is imposter syndrome. That's a big deal to me. When I talk to people or even to businesses or even coaching my team members, I'm telling myself, I ask myself, am I really providing value to them? Because all things that I know right now came from other people. The biggest reason why I struggle with imposter syndrome was that because I didn't know myself. I did not believe in myself, and I'm focusing on the people around me. I'm focusing on what will they say if I mess up, But now that I know who really I am, and that my identity is founded on a foundation that is not changeable, I won't be as offended as much if somebody came up to me and say, hey, Kristy, you're not really good at this thing. Your grammar is not perfect. You're not from the States. You're from the Philippines. Why are you even here? I'm not going to be as much offended because I know who am I, If they tell me, go back to the Philippines, that's where you came from. Like, yeah, that's really where I came from,
Sure.
Like, I don't mind, but I'm here in the States, and I'm enjoying I am enjoying the opportunities that I am getting here in the Philippines. And I feel like regardless if you just moved to the States, or even if you're born here, if you make the most of the opportunities in front of you, then you will be able to make it.
Yeah, well said. I think the thing that I'm most impressed with SmartVA's growth is that you've built a team, and the team, you've been able to find leaders on that team, and those leaders are leading managers, and those managers are directing teams, and those teams are supporting a lot of businesses with the things that they have. And you figured that out really quickly, first of all, and you're doing it largely from 8,000 miles away. And so what are some specific challenges that you face leading a team that is pretty far away, and how are you overcoming them?
Wow, that's a good question. It's not really like a one main challenge, but it was to me. There was this team member that wasn't a culture fit, that person wasn't really embodying our core values, and we had to let her go. And I didn't want to let go of anybody, but we had to, because it's affecting our other members as well. It's affecting our whole company, and it's affecting me as well. My mental health is being affected because I think about it all the time. So firing an individual is something that is really, really hard for me, and that is one of the most biggest challenge when I was growing my company. But now we set systems in place, so we have now scorecards, that if they didn't perform on a specific month, they will be coached, and for about 3 months, if they are not giving us consistent results, then they will be let go. So I think the main challenge was when I fired that one individual, we did not explain to her what we're expecting, and I think that individual as well was kind of shocked that she was fired, and that's because we did not give her any signs of like, hey, you're gonna be let go. Yes, we told her that, hey, what you're doing is not good, but we were not very transparent to her that, hey, if you did not improve, then you're gonna be let go. So that's the main thing that we did not do, and I think that's why it was hard for me, and it was hard for that individual that got let go as well.
And I can relate to that. I think I had to let a couple people go early on at Spire, and we did it really poorly. And I say, like, is there a good way? Yes, I think there is. Brene Brown talks about clear is kind. And I think sometimes we hesitate to be clear with people because we think that maybe we're going to come off like a jerk or something like that. But really, people need that clarity, and it's kindness to be clear with other people. You made it sound easy, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of the people in those suits, the people we picture in big companies, that their growth has stalled because they haven't figured out how to build a team of leaders that can lead other people and to scale up from there. And so, in working with SmartVAs myself, I was like, wow, look at the people. Like, I sent you a message because 3 years ago, that's what I did. And you're like, well, let me direct you to you directed me to Regina, and then Regina introduced me to Miguel, and Miguel introduced me to my to the VA team that I'd be working with. I'm like, this is the real deal. And the ability that you've had to create that leadership team that's making it happen has enabled you, I think, to really continue to grow. Can you describe for our savvy marketers what activities you're doing as a marketer yourself to help create that demand that you're seeing for SmartVAs? One
thing I realize is that we're all human beings. And what is something that we all share the most? That's emotion, right? So we attack our marketing strategy with emotions. Like, we really talk about our target audience's pain points. Even when you asked me at the beginning of this podcast interview, you said, what is SmartVAs? And I mentioned we help overwhelmed businesses. And so when somebody who is overwhelmed and that person is an entrepreneur, that person will think, oh, so they're helping me, and so they're gonna want to find our website and book a call with us because they know that we're able to help them. And so I think knowing the emotions of our target audience, that's one. But currently, the biggest lead generation machine that we have is Google. I never thought that I will be best friends with Google's, algorithm. But if you asked me this 2 years ago, I would say differently. I would say LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Because LinkedIn, that's where we met, right? Because LinkedIn, you can meet or get connected with people fast as compared to Google. Because with Google, you're going to have to optimize everything. You're going to have to study Google's algorithm. And so now, because SEO is a long-term strategy.
Yeah.
It's not like if you implement it today, tomorrow you're going to see results.
Right.
No, it'll take like maybe a year or two before you reap your harvest. And now we are reaping the harvest of our SEO efforts from 2020.
Yeah.
So, like just the month of January, we had 30 leads from Google.
Fantastic.
Just think about that. And if we did not start in 2020, we wouldn't have those number of leads.
Yeah.
And so being patient in your marketing strategy is very important. I think a lot of marketers, but mainly business owners who do not know SEO, they're very impatient because they want to see, results immediately, but they do not understand that in order to see results, you have to keep on putting the work, you have to be consistent until that time comes, So I'm the head of our marketing department right now, but I'm not the hands. I'm just the brain. When I think of something, I delegate it to my marketing team and they do it for me. So they're the implementator. I'm the visionary.
Yeah.
And so I think if you're a marketer, it's important that you have a set pair of hands who would be able to implement your strategies. There's a lot of things that goes into that, especially with SEO. It's like it's not a one-man job.
Right.
It's you need a team, So if you're a marketer, you're the visionary and you need help from other people to implement your vision, unless you don't want to scale.
Yeah, I like that. So the head and the hands are the way to think about this. So that's actually a good segue. I wanted to shift gears and talk a little bit about how savvy marketers can multiply their impact. I think a lot of them need hands so that they have time to think more and to strategize more. And maybe that's a virtual assistant or outsourced or an in-house assistant. What do leaders need to do in order to delegate effectively?
In order to delegate, you need to know what and who. What to delegate and who to delegate to. So that means as a business owner, you have to really assess what are the things that you're supposed to be doing and what are the things that you're not supposed to be doing. So I always tell my clients to do an exercise, and I do this for myself as well. So right now, Jeremy, just imagine a quadrant, or whoever you are listening to this episode, imagine a quadrant. So on the top left quadrant, list down the tasks that you enjoy doing and you're good at.
Okay.
Those are the tasks that you're supposed to be doing most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
On the top right quadrant, list down the tasks that you enjoy doing, but you're not good at. Only do that 10% of the time. On the bottom left quadrant, you need to list down the things that you are good at, but you don't enjoy doing. Only delegate that 90% of the time.
Okay.
And then the last quadrant, which is the bottom right quadrant, this is a no-brainer, Jeremy.
Yeah. Why are we doing work that we aren't good at and we don't enjoy doing?
The task that you're not good at and you don't enjoy doing, delegate it 100% of the time, unless you want to die.
Yeah.
Right? Because we only have 24 hours a day. And I think it's very important that we know our priorities, because if we don't know our priorities, we just keep on doing things that we think we're supposed to be doing. Our calendar is going to be full all the time.
Yeah.
And it's important, for a business owner like you and me, it's important that we have white spaces on our calendar, because those are our thinking time. Those are our strategic thinking time. And so once you already know the tasks that you're supposed to be doing and the tasks that you're not supposed to be doing, now the question is, who are you going to hire? The key to knowing who really you need to hire is the person that matches with what's important to you, your core values. At SmartVAs, we don't only hire people that are skilled and talented. We hire people because of their attitude, their character. And even in our performance evaluation card, our ratings is, of course, it's 100%, but it's 40% for skill set, 60% character, because you can easily teach somebody how to post or to create a social media post.
Yes.
You can easily teach somebody how to post something on LinkedIn or edit this podcast recording, right? But you cannot teach somebody how to be honest.
That's right.
It's important as well that you're prepared. Don't expect your VAs to read what's in your mind. You need to create standard operating procedures or SOPs. And SOPs, they don't have to be like very formal. It doesn't have to look like, okay, column A, do this, column B, section 1, section 2. It doesn't have to be like that. It can be just, a step-by-step instruction on how to post something on social media, or you can even record yourself through Zoom or even Loom video. So you have to explain clearly why you want your VA to do the task for you and what's your vision for the task. How is it helping your company?
Yeah. So I'm thinking about the quadrants that you described, and if there's something that I'm good at, but I don't enjoy it, I could make a Loom video of myself doing that thing one last time, right? Okay.
One last time.
I'm going to put this post together. I don't enjoy doing it, but I'm going to show you how I do it. And then I could hand that to your team and they could say, okay, now we have the instructions that we need to do it the way you do it, and you don't have to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So Kristy, I want to thank you for making the trip to Ashland today, and for taking time to describe how you've built your business and the things that you're doing, and why you're doing it. I'm going to make sure I include your contact information in the show notes today so that people can reach out and work with your team. Are there any final thoughts that you want to share as we wrap up today?
I just want to say that if you are a marketer and you really want to scale your business, find the right people that you can entrust your business to. It's very important that you have the right people. You surround yourself with the right team that you trust, and in return, they trust you back.
Good stuff. Well, thanks again for being part of this show today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hey, I want to thank you for watching today's episode of The Savvy Marketer. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to share this with other savvy marketers out there or leaders who may need to see this episode as well. Every episode of The Savvy Marketer is brought to you by Spire. We're an Ohio-based marketing agency. We help you sharpen your strategy, get more done, and make your marketing hum. Take your marketing higher with Spire. Thanks for watching.